Peace, peace. Okay, welcome back to another car chat, y'all. Really quick, I wanted to talk about mom guilt. I'm literally picking my girls up right now from aftercare, and I didn't have to work today, but they still went to school and they still went to aftercare, and so much of me wanted to pick them up like early before time, but I had so much to get done today, like so much paperwork, so much like little tedious things that I knew I would not be able to get done in the same time, in the same energy that I had today had I had my girls with me earlier. And I was just thinking about how a lot of us moms, probably you included, have literally taken those times when you should have taken a moment for yourself. You should have let them stay with their grandma another day or so, but you felt like you didn't want to be a burden because that's your child, or, that's not their responsibility necessarily. Like, we all need a village. We all need somebody that we can call on, that we can depend on, that we can count on to make sure that we stay sane, because we're not going to be sane if we're continuing to just move and move and move and try to show up in this imaginary space of perfect momming. It's just not gonna happen. I made a post recently online and I was mentioning how motherhood never gave me a perfect opportunity. Like, it never gave me a perfect routine. It never gave me a perfect lunch, breakfast, dinner. Like, it just didn't work out like that. But the things that help me give myself grace is, when I pick my children up right now, I know we have a routine set. I know we have a schedule, and I know that there's time when I'm going to bond with them, when I'm going to have a moment to sit with them and love on them and give them the time and energy that they need. I watched a podcast on YouTube with a therapist, and he basically said, a psychologist, a child psychologist, and he said that it takes 20 minutes a day, undivided attention from us parents, to give to our children to make that connection, for them to feel loved, for them to feel seen. Not 20 minutes where we're sitting on our phones, but we're right there with them. Not 20 minutes where we're telling them, oh no, you're doing that wrong, that's not how you play that, that's not how you do that. No, just 20 minutes of us being and allowing them to be. 20 minutes. And I know I'm about to give them that. I know I'm about to show up for my girls and give them that. So that mom guilt that's trying to come up in me, like that I gotta be superwoman, I gotta do it all, I gotta wear it all, and then just still walk around like I'm not, nothing's wrong with me. No, that's not the reality that we're living in anymore, and that's not the reality that I'm living in, and I don't want that for you. So that's why I said I'm gonna make this video today on Monday, and I'm gonna talk to us moms, my mom friends, my mom sisters, like aunties, like whoever is caregiving right now. Like, that grace, you deserve it, because nobody else is going to give you that break when you're sick. Nobody's going to give you that day off and tell you you ain't got to wash the dishes. They ain't going to tell you you ain't got to check your children's homework. They ain't going to tell you, you don't have to care for yourself. Those things still got to happen. We was taking care of ourselves only before we had these children. Now we have children that we have to also tend to. So that's a lot. And if we don't put structure, that was the other thing, structure. I wanted to remind us that we have to get a structure. Y'all, I used to crash out really, really bad. Like, I would be like this, go mom, go mom, go mom, go. And then I'll just have a moment when I'm like screaming, like, move when I say move, do what I say, you didn't do this, da, 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 da. Like, I'm just crashing out because I had no structure. Like, we had no routine, we had nothing happening. Like, the fact that I could sit here, and take today off work and not feel like I was neglecting my children because I left them at school, that came from me putting structure, and not structure where it's like, oh, y'all can't do this, you can't do this. No, you want to watch TV, you have to take your shower. You know you have to have your homework done. You know you have to have your chores done. So doing those things in a correct amount of time with the amount of energy that they take, you can now have your freedom to watch TV, to hang out, to chill out, to do the things. Y'all, it helps so much. It takes the big bad wolf off of mommy. You know, always being the one to say no, you can't have, no, the answer is no because I said so. Like, putting things in order gives so much, like, so much freedom for us to be like the nice mommies. Like, it ain't on me, it's just what it is, you know. You come home from school and you want a snack, you know it's only fruit until your dessert, or you won't have a dessert later. It's all about structure, y'all. It's such a scary thing when you think about it from like people that, you know, parented before us, I would say, because they were so like built to ass. But structure can really be a beautiful thing for our children and for us to just live peacefully. You know, my biggest thing with my brand and what I wanted to bring into the motherhood space was that we can live our life and we can live, and our children can live their life, and we can instinct them together and they can live in harmony. Like, we don't have to neglect one for the other, and we don't have to deprive ourselves because we're mothers, and we don't have to deprive motherhood because we want to be ourselves. You know, we just have to find a balance, and that balance, I mean, I'm still, you know, figuring it out. I have some moments when my house look crazy and I'm like, ooh, this is, but I also just pick what's important for that day. We got an appointment today. I gotta get this deadline thing done, and that's what I settle on. I settle on the best part of what I could do for that day. But this video is getting longer than I wanted to, but I just wanted to share that what was on my heart today. And yeah, another card chat for the books. Y'all drop in the comments if you understand where I'm coming from, if you feel where I'm coming from, if you've been where I'm coming from. And I'll see you next time. Peace.